how extreme heat affects your car, especially the tires. As the weather starts heating up, most of us can simply head indoors and cool off in an air-conditioned space. But your car doesn't have that option. It's left out in the sun day after day, soaking up the heat. So that raises an important question. Can prolonged sun exposure actually damage your car? To find out, I spoke with several experienced mechanics and did some research, and I want to share the key takeaways with you here. Heat plus tires equals higher blowout risk. Many drivers already know that direct sunlight can seriously affect your tires. Thanks to the laws of physics, thermal expansion and contraction, the air pressure inside your tires rises as the temperature increases. This is why tire blowouts become more common in summer. That's also why some people recommend slightly lowering your tire pressure during hot weather. But how much lower is considered safe and reasonable? I looked it up. Here's what I found. For every 6 degrees Celsius, about 10.8 degrees Fahrenheit, increase in ambient temperature, tire pressure goes up by about 0.07 bar, 1 psi. Let's break that down with an example. Suppose your standard tire pressure is 2.5 bar, about 36 psi. If it's 15 degrees Celsius, 59 degrees Fahrenheit early in the morning, but it hits 38 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit by noon, that's a temperature jump of 23 degrees Celsius. Multiply that by 0.07, and the pressure rises by about 0.28 bar. So your 2.5 bar tire pressure could easily hit 2.78 bar, roughly 40 psi, just from the heat alone. Now imagine you're driving at highway speeds during peak heat. The friction from the road causes your tires to heat up even more, increasing the internal air pressure further. At that point, your braking performance may decrease. The risk of a blowout rises sharply. That's why checking your tire pressure regularly, especially during summer, isn't just a good habit. It's a key safety precaution. Does summer heat damage your car paint? The heat resistance of automotive paint depends largely on its chemical makeup. Most vehicles use epoxy resin-based primers, which can typically withstand air temperatures of at least 120 degrees Celsius, 248 degrees Fahrenheit. So yes, even if you crack a raw egg on your car's hood and it sizzles like a frying pan, the paint itself probably won't be damaged by heat alone. But that doesn't mean it's totally safe. The real threat is UV radiation, not just heat. While high temperatures don't easily destroy paint, the ultraviolet UV rays and sunlight are a different story. UV rays react with the organic resin components in the paint, causing them to age and degrade more quickly over time. So it's not the heat that ruins your paint. It's the constant exposure to sunlight, especially prolonged UV exposure, that accelerates wear and dullness. How to protect your paint in the summer. Of course, you can't put a giant fan next to your car every time it's hot out. Instead, here are a few practical ways to protect your car's exterior. Use a high-quality car cover when parked outdoors. Park in shaded or underground garages whenever possible. For car enthusiasts or owners of higher-end vehicles, consider applying a UV-resistant, heat-resistant wax or sealant during the summer. These treatments offer extra protection against sun-related fading and aging, and for the price, they're a worthwhile investment. What about the interior? The heat problem gets worse inside. Your car's interior is even more vulnerable to sun exposure, and this time, temperature plays a major role. Interior components like leather, fabric, and synthetic materials are often bonded together using industrial adhesives. Under high heat, these glues can begin to break down and release harmful chemicals. Some of the common off-gas substances include formaldehyde, benzene, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs. You don't need to memorize these terms. Just remember, if you open the door of a sun-baked car and are hit with a strong, chemical-like odor, it's likely the result of toxic gases being released inside. Most new cars meet indoor air quality standards, which typically require that the level of these substances remains under 0.1 milligrams per cubic meter. But even compliant vehicles can emit more chemicals when overheated, especially during the first few months of ownership. What happens inside your car after it's left in the sun? Once a car is exposed to direct sunlight, the situation inside changes drastically. I came across some compelling experimental data. When the outdoor temperature is around 36 degrees Celsius, 96.8 degrees Fahrenheit, the temperature inside the car can climb to 56.2 degrees Celsius, 133.2 degrees Fahrenheit in just a short time. And that heat doesn't just make things uncomfortable. It accelerates the release of harmful chemicals from the car's interior materials. In just 30 minutes, the level of formaldehyde in the cabin can exceed 0.1 milligrams per cubic meter, which is a commonly accepted safe limit for indoor air quality. What's more, in some regions, especially in the southern U.S., actual surface temperatures can reach 50 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, even if the weather station reports lower ambient temperatures. In those conditions, the release of VOCs, volatile organic compounds, becomes even more pronounced. A simple habit that makes a big difference. I've developed a personal habit when driving in hot weather. Before starting the engine, I open all the windows, turn on the air conditioning, and set it to outside air circulation mode. If I'm not in a rush, I'll wait outside the car for a couple of minutes, sometimes just long enough to smoke a cigarette, although obviously, smoking is not recommended from a health perspective. By the time I step inside, the air inside the car feels noticeably fresher and less stuffy. So even if your car meets national safety and emission standards, it's still smart to air out after it's been parked in sun. Prolonged exposure can lead to elevated levels of harmful gases, especially in newer cars with fresh interior adhesives and plastics. What about other parts like rubber seals? It's not just the air that suffers from the heat. Rubber components around your car can take a hit, too. The rubber sealing strips around your doors and windows are especially vulnerable to UV damage and prolonged high temperatures. Over time, these seals can begin to dry out, crack, or lose flexibility, leading to wind noise while driving, water leaks during rain, higher cabin noise levels, and the eventual need for replacement, which can be an added cost. Now, you might be wondering about tires, since they're also made of rubber. While that's true, tires are manufactured using different rubber compounds, with higher durability and better heat resistance compared to the softer, flexible seals used in doors and windows. Not all car colors handle the heat the same way. When cars of different colors are parked under the sun all day, there's a surprising difference in how hot the interiors get. White cars are the highest albedo, meaning they reflect the most sunlight. But even then, the average cabin temperature can rise to over 56.2 degrees Celsius, 133.2 degrees Fahrenheit, with a maximum of 64.8 degrees Celsius, 148.6 degrees Fahrenheit recorded in some tests. Black cars, on the other hand, absorb far more heat. If white cars are the straight-A students of heat resistance, black cars are the struggling students. Their interiors get even hotter, even faster. At those temperatures, your car becomes a heat chamber, and there are certain items you should absolutely never leave inside, especially during the summer. Why you should never leave lighters in a hot car. Let's start with one of the most dangerous everyday items: lighters. Most disposable gas lighters use fuels like N-butane, isobutane, or propane. These gases are flammable and sealed under pressure, and while they're generally safe under normal conditions, they're not designed for extreme heat. In lab testing, most lighters can withstand up to 65 degrees Celsius, 149 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 4 hours. But here's where it gets risky. On a sunny summer day, the dashboard area, especially the center console, heats up rapidly because of direct sunlight through the windshield. In just 1 hour, the temperature on the dashboard can reach 65 degrees Celsius. After a full day of sun, that area can spike to 70 to 90 degrees Celsius, 158 to 194 degrees Fahrenheit. This makes it one of the worst possible places to leave a lighter. Safer places to store a lighter, if you must. If you absolutely have to keep a lighter in your car, choose a spot that's shaded, enclosed, away from direct sunlight. Safer storage options include the side pocket of the door panel, away from windows, a light-proof storage compartment like the glove box. These areas are less exposed to sunlight and have more insulation, helping keep temperatures down. Are lithium-ion devices safe inside a hot car? While lithium-ion batteries are generally safer than items like gas lighters, they still shouldn't be left in a hot car for extended periods. By standard specifications, lithium-ion batteries should remain stable when stored at 75 degrees Celsius, 167 degrees Fahrenheit for up to 6 hours. So technically, in most conditions, even during summer, your phone or power bank may not immediately be at risk inside a parked car. But here's the key. If these devices are left on areas like the dashboard, which gets direct sunlight, certain surfaces can exceed 75 degrees Celsius. And if you're charging your phone or power bank inside a car that's already overheated, that adds even more stress on the battery. Why charging in a hot car can be harmful. High temperatures can temporarily make battery chemistry more active, improving short-term performance. But at the same time, heat can also trigger unwanted side reactions inside the battery, causing breakdown of electromaterials, degradation of the electrolyte, permanent loss of battery capacity. This is why charging electronics in a hot vehicle can lead to irreversible damage or even battery failure over time. So for maximum safety, especially when parking under direct sunlight, remove all lithium-powered devices from your car, including phones, tablets, laptops, and power banks. Don't leave glass bottles in the sun, either. Another commonly overlooked danger in summer, glass containers. Glass bottles, especially those with curved or convex shapes, can focus sunlight like a magnifying glass. If left in a sunlit area like the dashboard or rear shelf, they can intensify solar radiation to a single point, potentially igniting flammable materials nearby. Think of how a magnifying glass can burn paper under sunlight. Same principle applies here. For example, if focused sunlight hits a nearby lighter that's only at room temperature, 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit, the lighter's surface could quickly heat up to 90 degrees Celsius, 194 degrees Fahrenheit. That's well beyond safe limits, and it's an entirely avoidable risk. Bottom line, for summer car safety, here's a quick rule of thumb. Don't leave lighters, glass bottles, or lithium battery-powered devices in direct sunlight inside your car. If you must keep these items with you, store them in shaded, enclosed, and ventilated compartments like the glove box or center console. The hidden danger of glass bottle car perfume in summer. One item that deserves special caution in summer is glass bottle car perfume. Like other glass containers, these bottles can concentrate sunlight, posing the same fire risk we mentioned earlier. But that's only part of the problem. The bigger concern lies inside the bottle. Why car perfumes can explode in the heat. Most car perfumes are alcohol-based. That's because fragrances and essential oils aren't soluble in water, but they dissolve well in alcohol, making it the preferred solvent. But here's the issue. Alcohol is highly volatile. Under high heat, it evaporates rapidly, creating vapor pressure inside the bottle. If the perfume is stored in a cheap, thin glass bottle, it may not be able to withstand the pressure buildup. This can lead to cracking, leaking, or even bursting. What's more, alcohol is flammable and potentially explosive. If the concentration of alcohol vapor in the car's cabin exceeds 3.38%, the mixture becomes explosive under the right conditions. It may sound extreme, but evaporating just 100 to 200 milliliters of perfume in a sealed, hot environment can push vapor levels toward that dangerous threshold. Never light a cigarette immediately after entering the car. If you've left any perfume in the vehicle, don't light a cigarette the moment you step in. Instead, open the windows first. Let the air circulate. Vent out any trapped vapors. This simple habit could reduce the risk of ignition and also make the cabin air safer and more breathable. And one more tip. Avoid leaving low-cost, unbranded, or unknown car perfumes inside your car, especially those sold in fragile glass containers. Their quality control may be questionable, and in high heat, that's a real liability. Final tip, summer parking equals double-check time. Compared to winter, summer heat introduces more hidden dangers inside your vehicle. Before parking under direct sunlight, take a few moments to check for items that don't belong in a hot car. Remove potential hazards like perfumes, lighters, power banks, and glass bottles. Ventilate your vehicle before driving. These simple steps can prevent serious damage and even protect you and your passengers from unexpected risks.